As always, the dirty Danaconda Dan Sesnit. Dan, you're finger banging. What's that all about? How you doing?
Finger gunning. Finger banging
You were you were finger banging.
That sounds like the prom. No. I hope my wife's not listening. But anyway, yeah, no, I don't know. I'm fired up. Pew pew.
Yeah, this is we're in a good. I mean, like, how do I say it? Like, I think everything is good right now. This is supposed to be like the down period in wrestling in general post WrestleMania, but I think everything's been pretty consistent overall. There's not really
it's been really hard to take any sort of like hiatus. Like, I think both you and I wanted to take a bit of a rest, but everything has been really just high quality since WrestleMania. So it's kind of hard to step away in any way, shape, or form.
Absolutely, man. And it's just you know, this King of the Ring tournament certainly keeps everything interesting. You know, no secret that by the bygone era WWE, the Vince McMahon who was in charge did not like tournaments. There is just such an appeal to me to tournaments, that sports like feel, and there's always stakes for every match. So like I don't really understand why anyone would be anti-tournament. I know some people say AEW has too many of them. Maybe there's a case to that, but at the very least, it makes things interesting.
I love tournaments, and I don't think there's such thing as too many of them. I think it's easy to book it. It's easy to relate to tournaments. It has the sports feel. So to me, it's a no-brainer. And to bring back something as prestigious as King of the Ring is just it's a good idea during a down period because it will keep fans watching. And tournaments force you to tune in every week.
Yeah, and I very much like how it's a Queen of the Ring tournament with as much same emphasis as the King of the Ring tournament. I think that's really cool overall.
Yeah.
Not as cool that it's going to be decided in Saudi Arabia, but they have to go there every year. They're locked in.
You're not breaking that contract.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's go over some of the matches that happened on Raw. First, the women's bracket: Io Sky, Shayna Baszler. I thought they had a really solid match with each other, as you would expect. These are two talents that are familiar with each other from NXT. Also, not a surprise that Io Sky got the win here. I think she is the strong favorite, really, in this. I don't know. She might be my. I don't know. Maybe in the final. I think she makes it to the final. Don't you?
Oh, I mean, she's definitely going to make it to the final because she's going up against. I mean, I like Valkyria, I do, but I don't think she's going to upset Io Sky here.
I mean, she's beaten Becky Lynch, so there's certainly she has some merit. So it's not out of the realm.
I just don't think. I think you're looking at Io versus, if I were to guess, Jade in the final.
Do you think Jade gets past Bianca? Or do you think Tiffany Stratton beats Bianca?
I think Jade gets past Bianca.
Wow. You think you think they're going to have that match?
No.
No?
No.
Now that you think about it,
I think Tiffany's going to win. I think that's going to be an upset, unfortunately.
Okay, all right. I can see that happening too. I could see a conceivable final maybe be Jade Cargill versus Io Sky. Jade.
That's my final.
Yeah, that's my pick. And the semi is going to be Jade against Tiffany.
Yeah.
Because when you look at that women's bracket, when you think about Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair going one-on-one, it's the same argument as to why a lot of people felt it was the right decision that Jay went over Ilya Dragunov, because I feel like both of those situations, you want to have those talents against each other on a much, much bigger stage. than like a random episode of like Raw or SmackDown. Am I right?
I thought it was going to be Ilya versus. I mean, I
Dude,
thought somehow it was going to be them in the finals.
In my heart,
that's what I thought.
In my heart, I very much wanted it to be Ilya Dragunov that won it, and like it does kind of get under my skin that Jey Uso got the win over Ilya, but I have to kind of just like put my emotions aside and just understand that like I think Triple H is smart enough to save Ilya versus Gunther for another time, you know, because like they had their first like face-to-face interaction this past week since they've been on the main roster. I think it's gonna be like a slow burn in a way, and there's gonna be an epic encounter.
It's 100% going to be a slow burn, epic encounter type situation. But I do think that you could have pulled the trigger in the final of King of the Ring with these two.
It's simply not set up that way though, because it was SmackDown on one side and Raw on the other. You know,
yeah,
so
this was my hope as soon as I heard Gunther declare for King of the Ring was that it was going to be Ilya versus him in the final.
Like, because even when he had declared for King of the Ring, the draft,
the bracket
at that point.
The brackets hadn't happened. There was nothing in that realm. So to me, yes, they were probably going to do a SmackDown and Raw and whatever. And I ultimately did think that they were going to get themselves split up, you know, at first.
I didn't think they were going to be on the same brand either.
Yeah, I just didn't see it happen in that way. And I like them rubbing up against each other and not wrestling yet. And I think that there's probably a good plan in place to see them wrestle each other again at some point.
Oh, yeah. I think they're going to I don't know about main event WrestleMania, but they're going to have a WrestleMania match against each other. I'm actually willing to put money on that maybe not this coming WrestleMania, but a WrestleMania, you're going to see Gunther against Ilya Dragunov.
It's feasible.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Gunther, obviously, he got okay. Let's go back to the women's bracket.
Yep.
Lyra Valkyria got the win over Zoe Stark. I guess, like, I don't know. Like, I kind of like that they're pushing Lyra, but I don't like it at who it's been at the expense of. Like her opening round match was against Dakota Kai, and I kind of wanted to see Dakota Kai get the win over Lyra. And it's like I want to see better things for Dakota Kai, to be honest. I think she's a lot better than what she's currently positioned on the roster. You know, I just want to see her kind of get her chance. And I feel that way also about Zoe Stark, because there's been so many like start and stops with her that I feel like winning the women's King of the Ring tournament, or I'm sorry, what the fuck am I saying? The Queen of the Ring tournament would be like huge for her women's King of the Ring. Jesus fucking Christ.
Cancel Eric.
But you know what I mean, though? Like, I just think that both of those talents, despite the fact that I like Lyra, also really needed wins.
Yeah, I mean, everybody needs wins, and that's the great part about a tournament. Somebody's going to lose. Somebody's not going to move on, and not everybody's going to get to win.
I just think Dakota in particular, like, I want to see her get an opportunity to really cook.
Completely agree.
You know, like it's just been a little bit too, like, I know she just recently came back from injury. Maybe I'm just like jumping the gun on this, but like she's looked really, really good since she's been back. I think that she is just
really fucking good wrestler. That's why she's gonna look good when she's in the ring. But again, not everybody can win. And I know that Triple H loves Lyra, you know, so here we go. Let her, she deserves it too, right? So we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get back to the Raw side. First, Gunther beat Kofi Kingston, as anyone would expect. But it wasn't without there being like some really good moments in this match. Kofi made it seem like he was going to get the win. And if you can't tell,
I
I can't
don't.
remember exact spots because
I
it's been
just
a little
don't,
bit ago.
honest to God, believe that there's anybody that's going to beat Gunther here. Like this tournament was basically put on for him.
Let's
Like
just
he's gonna. Let's just
yeah.
assume he's the champ because I don't see it any other way.
I think I would be very, very disturbed if Jey Uso beats Gunther.
It would make zero sense, and I don't see anybody on the other side of the bracket that would be somebody that I'd be like, yeah, they could be. Maybe Randy Orton.
I
You
think the
know,
final is going to be Randy Orton versus Gunther, and Gunther's going to go over.
yeah, which he should.
Mm-hmm.
But or maybe LA Knight versus Gunther. But
I
Randy
don't
is still baby facing it up right now, so I guess it
no,
would be fine.
I don't see it because I see Randy Orton beating Carmelo Hayes, and I see Tama Tonga with help from the Bloodline beating LA Knight, and Randy and kind of wants to. He said he wants to get his hands on Tama Tonga, so I just think that's how it's gonna play out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching matches. I haven't really been listening, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. They've all been on in the background for me. But yeah. All right.
But that's on SmackDown tonight. Those matches, I'm really looking forward to them, especially Carmelo against Randy Orton. Like that's going to be for Carmelo.
Carmelo's gonna put a lot of eyes on himself again. You know, even after a quick win over Corbin, he's still gonna.
Oh, by the way, I really liked Corbin last week. Really liked his work against Carmelo.
He's a really fucking good wrestler, and I think it's one of those guys that he just always just pops up and shows you, right? Like, and he's gonna
really
be
in this NXT run. Like, I feel like he wasn't. I don't know. I
feel like he's always been super reliable. You might not have loved what he's done, but he's worked really hard to be good in the get better in the ring, right?
Yeah.
Like I've never been in the ring, so who am I to say? But I can say assuredly that from when I first started watching Baron Corbin, and I was like, oh, I just don't really dig his work. He's just not special to me. Now I feel like he's a backbone kind of mid to upper mid card guy that you could plug in just about anywhere, and
I agree.
He's just been nothing short of solid for a really long time now.
Yeah, and I like the fact that they're gonna do this run with a new approach, that he's gonna be more of his real life self, and I think that is the best chance for him to succeed.
Yeah, he's got he does have a very decent
seems like
personality.
A really cool guy. Yeah.
Seems like he has a pretty sick life. He had that feud. He had that feud with the chef guy. He had a Twitter spat.
Chef reactions.
Yeah, that was really great. I think that's where I sort of started to really see that he was funny and whatnot, and could laugh at himself as well. So so good for him for solidifying himself in my mind anyway.
I agree, man. I think there's a lot of more exciting things to come from Baron Corbin, but not for now. Again, it's going to be Mello against Orton tonight, LA Knight against Tama Tonga. Real quick, Ilya Dragunov and Jey Uso. Don't get me wrong. I thought I liked it. Thought it should have been a bit longer.
It was 13 minutes.
Yeah, I thought it should have been longer.
I mean, that's kind of short of what I can see. Only 2 matches were a lot longer, and that was Gunther and Sheamus.
Here's another thing too that kind of takes me out of it. All right, another thing that got under my skin about Ilya losing to Jay like that is every time I've seen Ilya finally get beaten, it takes multiple finishers to beat him. It's not just a super kick, a splash, and you pin him 1, 2, 3. That's what I had a really hard time believing.
It takes away a little of the mystique.
Yeah,
definitely takes a little of the heat away.
Well, I wouldn't worry too much about Ilya's future in the
I'm
WWE.
not. I'm
No.
not even a little bit.
But on the women's side, tonight on SmackDown, first we got Bianca Belair against Tiffany Stratton. I think you've convinced me, Dan. I think that Tiffany Stratton does beat Bianca by nefarious means.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what I think.
And then Jade Cargill, Nia Jax. For some reason, I thought that this was going to be the match that they were going. I thought this was going to be the match at WrestleMania. Like I thought that they were pushing Nia so hard, like leading into WrestleMania season, so
Yeah.
Jade Cargill could be the one to like end her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and yeah, it does take a little bit away from it being a second round match here. A quarterfinal match.
I mean, I'm fine. I'm fine with it being a quarterfinal match. It's just I had envisioned that they were going to face each other at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But I think Jade gets the win here, and yeah, we're gonna get Jade against Tiffany, or maybe they'll surprise us and give us Jade against Bianca, which would be.
I hope not. And you've convinced me that would be a terrible idea. Not that I didn't think it already, but you've solidified my belief that would be a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It would be like when they tried to do that Brock Lesnar versus Stone Cold in a random Raw.
In the random King of the Ring.
Yep.
I've never been a proponent of someone who's already won the King of the Ring or Queen of the Ring being in the tournament.
I don't mind it being defended.
Yeah. Like,
doesn't bother me.
It felt weird in particular in that case when it was Stone Cold Steve Austin 6 years later in the King of the Ring.
That's weird.
After already being like a multi-time champion and everything.
But I mean, like Xavier Woods was set to defend it this year, he got injured. You know, so I do believe you should have the chance at least 1 year to defend your crown.
Yeah, one and done though. Like you shouldn't have another opportunity after that.
I think that's perfectly reasonable ruling for a tournament like this.
Yeah. All right, my friend. Let's get out of WWE land for a little bit, unless there is anything else you wanted to bring up.
We talked a lot of WWE there. That's the longest we've talked about a Raw or a SmackDown in a really long time.
I think we both really are intrigued by the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring.
Very much.
But also, let's talk just real briefly. Like, when do you think Jacob Fatu is going to make his debut? Because it's supposed to happen sometime soon. But then there's been like some reports out there that they're worried that once Jacob Fatu gets in the ring, everyone's going to forget about Solo Sikoa.
I mean, you did say that you thought Tama Tonga was going to get some help tonight, so why not?
Yeah.
Or maybe, I mean, I feel like, and I don't know if it's true, but I don't think he could leave the country, right?
Jacob Fatu now.
Yeah. So that being the case. Tonight? Well, no, I'm just saying they wouldn't do it at the final because the bloodline's not going to be involved in the final
because it's in Saudi Arabia.
It's in Saudi Arabia. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So, I mean, tonight or next week is as good as any, I would say.
Yeah.
So,
for sure. All right, let's get into Dynamite.
But backtracking, yes, they should be afraid. Once Jacob Fatu gets in the ring, he is going to outshine everybody else. Mm-hmm. That's unquestionable.
I totally agree, man. It's just like he just does things at his size that nobody else can do.
There's not a lot. I mean, there's a handful of them out there. I mean, we saw Jeff Cobb, who's one of those kind of guys that can do some things that nobody else his size can do. Keith Lee can do a lot of that kind of stuff when he is perfectly healthy. But
neither one of those guys can do a running Fosbury flop to the outside. You know what the Fosbury flop is? Where you run and you do a moonsault.
Yeah.
To the outside. Yeah. And it's just like the fact that a man that size can do that is just like What the fuck?
He's an impressive specimen, and I look forward to seeing it.
Absolutely. All right. So this episode of Dynamite started off really hot. I tuned in maybe like 2 minutes in, and there's already a lot going on.
Yeah.
Started off with Jeff Cobb and Kyle Fletcher, started by attacking Jon Moxley, and Danielson came out for the save. And this was a really good, hot opening match, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. I think that really, what was the? Is there a particular like feud or angle that's like happening here, between these two? Like,
between who?
Is like Moxley going to be facing Jeff Cobb or something, or is
no? I think that they're
still kind of beefing with the Don Callis family and the BCC.
Yeah.
Beefing.
Yeah, I think that all these factions are kind of very intermingled at this point. Everybody kind of hates everybody.
Yeah. But, I thought that this match was a great showcase of things that Jeff Cobb can do. I thought that the exchanges that him and Danielson had, I said it in the group chat, I just really want to see them in a one-on-one match against each other, and I'm sure that that's something that Danielson would want too.
Yeah, I mean, there was the low spot there where they didn't even introduce him. He didn't get an introduction or music or whatever. The live crowd probably got it, but we at home didn't, and that was pretty embarrassing. But I do think that commentary bounced back enough to give him rather, all that praise, and explaining who he is and where he's from and, how he's been in AEW before. So, for somebody that may not have necessarily known who Jeff Cobb was, I think that they did a pretty decent job.
Yeah, and it's also not to say, too, that Jeff Cobb wasn't on Dynamite before.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Had him as a hired gun that 1 week.
Yeah.
And
it's been a really long time, though.
And I'm glad that commentary reminded everyone that a few years ago, Cobb and Moxley had a match for the U.S. title.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, he's done his time on but I'm just saying for newer viewers, especially ones that may not watch New Japan, I'm just saying those are the people that you told that story to, so it makes sense, and he is somebody.
Mm-hmm. He is certainly somebody, and he is the new TV champion in New Japan. Zack Sabre Jr. dropped the title. And let's just sidebar a little bit. Zack Sabre Jr. has made a promise that he's going to go and win the G1 and go on to main event Wrestle Kingdom and beat Jon Moxley. Cool. And I'm really fucking excited about it, man. That's like what I've wanted for the last few years, is them to finally put the belt on Zack Sabre Jr. because we already know Zack Sabre Jr. is one of the best wrestlers in the world, but I want him to have that trophy, if you will, of showing everyone that like he is the fucking god of technical wrestling. And like if you're in a down period right now in New Japan, like put it on someone like Zack, who is able to branch out to all sorts of audiences out there. He's somebody.
He's also a real as fuck promo.
He's a great promo. He's got hella charisma. He makes technical wrestling really entertaining and interesting. And I just think that this is the best shot for New Japan right now to like retain any sort of relevance.
I'm not putting him on this level, but he, in when it comes to realism in a promo, he feels like Eddie to me. Like, like everything he says just feels like it's no bullshit. It's,
because I totally believe who he is,
Yeah. So, he will twist you into a fucking pretzel and laugh and mock you the entire time.
Mm-hmm. Human torture device.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excited about that. And yeah, we'll get to a little bit more New Japan in just a second, but
Mhm.
we had a preview of Adam Copeland was scheduled to call out Malachi Black, see if he would respond to the challenge, and this just resulted in Copeland getting his ass kicked. Uh, was it O'Reilly tried to come out for the save and got his ass kicked too? Now they just all just destroyed, and this just
Yeah,
like
yo, Brody King legit fucking. I thought he killed Kyle O'Reilly, man. Like I was Kyle. That man has been out for 2 years. You need to be gentle with that boy.
yeah,
Like, be gentle.
that lariat that he hit him with.
He, I gasped audibly.
Yeah, he's a scary man.
I clutched
He
my
doesn't.
pearls, if you will.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bro, he lays it in. There's no question about it. But yeah, I'm just really looking forward to that whole thing because, like, as Malachi Black said, if Copeland loses, he has to bend the knee to the House of Black. So like, I'm all for a story where like Copeland has to like join the House of Black for a little bit. I like those type of stories. I know that it sounds like Daniel Bryan when he was in the Wyatt family, but I liked that storyline too.
Yeah, that
So
was good. It's reminiscent.
mhm. I want to see Malachi win because I would like to see that scenario play out.
Yeah, I don't think Malachi should lose here.
Mhm.
Honestly, I think it's a better story because where
Incredibly
do you go?
overdue to have for him to have gold too.
Yeah, where do you go from there? You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
if he loses, that's kind of. I don't want to say it's a burial if he loses because obviously Copeland is a fucking legend, right, in the game.
Mhm.
But still, like he's overdue for that win and that gold, just like you said.
Absolutely, and this is thank God for Copeland. Just to it's not like Malachi's career was like on life support or anything, but it really just like he breathed life into the Malachi Black character as of late. Just
Makes
because
me
like
it makes
maybe
us
Malachi
care.
wasn't feeling inspired, you know?
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
it made us care. It made us care more about him, and I thought the House of Black looked badass here, like legitimately badass here.
Definitely agree. All right, so next they show clips of the brutal last man standing match between Eddie Kingston and Gabe Kidd that took place at New Japan Pro Wrestling Resurgence in California. Now, before we talk about the match itself, what do you think of the idea of a last man standing match having no ropes?
I was
I like it. I'll
it's
just say that right now.
unnecessary. It's
I don't think it
unnecessary,
is I
but
think it's unique. It gives it like a unique feel.
yeah, I
Because
mean
like I feel like
it's essentially a falls count anywhere. So who cares if there's ropes anyway? You know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so
I
yeah, I mean
certainly don't.
it gave definitely gave it a different look, a different feel. I'd never
Mhm.
seen anything outside of Bloodsport and well, Raw After Dark or whatever the hell that was. Wait, was that a Cinemax show?
Raw Underground,
Raw Underground.
Raw After Dark. Yeah, yeah.
That was
That's
definitely on
definitely on
Cinemax.
Skinamax.
But for real, yeah,
It's cool. But anyway, moral of the story here: Eddie got injured in this match. Eddie lost
yeah.
his championship. Eddie got brutally attacked by the returning Matt and Nick Jackson to New Japan Pro Wrestling, and Jack Perry and Okada. They all
Matthew and Nicholas, get it right.
they're such shitbags. Oh my
I
god.
love them. I love
Um,
them so much.
but they took out Eddie here, and yeah, Eddie is injured and it sucks, and we wish him well and we wish he comes back. But I'm glad that him being on the shelf, they kind of left this chapter open of
Oh yeah,
him being taken out by the Bucks. So he's gonna come back with a vengeance. People are
That
going to
pop.
go crazy.
Woo!
I know. I just think it's like I'm willing to wait the amount of time to get this payoff of him returning.
Yeah, it's
As
going to
much
be
as I
worth
love
it.
watching Eddie wrestle, and unfortunately, Eddie isn't going to be participating at Forbidden Door, which we all know is something that's near and dear to his heart, or the G1 for that matter. So that does suck, but it's going to feel so much better once he does come back.
When's the G1 start?
It's typically sometime in like July.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen anything as far as a timeline for Eddie's injury.
Me
So
neither, but it just didn't look good in the picture.
yeah, well, I mean, I didn't see where it got injured or
He was
anything
just
like
smoking a fat blunt.
Backwoods for sure. Backwoods, I'm
and
certain of it.
yeah, and you saw the big brace on him. So get well soon, Eddie. We love
Eddie,
you.
if you're listening, I would love to smoke a backwoods with you. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I'd even smoke a clove with you, Eddie. Those are fucking disgusting.
They're really fucking gross. But
all right, next, Dax and Cash were backstage. Dax said that, you call me a bitch, Okada. Well, you're a bitch based on who you spend your company with. Ha ha ha. But whatever. But they also found a replacement for Eddie Kingston. Before we get to that, who were you expecting in this moment that might be his replacement?
I wasn't expecting who it was.
I wasn't either.
Because that motherfucker just got hit by a bus.
I know.
So I'm baffled.
I wasn't particular. I can understand why they didn't use him, but I really, really, really wanted it to be Samoa Joe.
I thought it might. I thought it was going to be maybe Garcia. That's who I honestly thought.
Yeah, because of that connection with FTR. Yeah, sure. Yeah. But yeah, when we get, we'll talk about that in the last segment. But moving on in the show, we had Matthew Nicholas Jackson eliminator match against ROH Originals, Matt Sydal, and the head of talent relations for AEW, the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels. And this was a fine match. And you know what? If anyone in this match I felt came out looking a lot better, it was Matt Sydal. I think that he really proved and showed out in this match that he is still a guy that can really go in that ring.
I mean, I would have rather seen maybe an SCU reunion, but yes, Sydal definitely can still go.
Kazarian is locked up in a contract. Yeah. Oh wait, Scorpio Sky. He's another guy that's on the roster. Yeah, that's right. Anyway,
but yeah, Sydal showed out. Sydal for sure.
Yeah, I'm always going to have a lot of, love for Christopher Daniels. He's just one of the first guys that I latched onto on the indie scene in the early 2000s as somebody that he was incredible. He had his own unique gimmick, and he just put himself on the map in TNA and was just a pioneer. But, in this role that he's in right now, I dig it because, as you saw, he got unceremoniously fired.
He's in no role. He's got no role. He is fired. And I'll make the joke that everybody on Twitter made, and Curry Man is going to be on the roster.
Yeah.
Bring back Curry Man.
Yeah. Okay. That's, you know what? That's fine. That's fine. I'm with it.
And it's literally, it was like the IWC blew up. It was immediately, it was guess that opens up a roster spot for Curry Man.
Have you ever seen Curry Man?
Have I?
Yeah.
No, I know of him.
Very, very stupid gimmick. I'm not a huge fan of it, but
very
it's
unserious.
Kind of like a something you accept in the same way that you accept Yoshihiko.
Okay. Okay. You're comparing a person to a blow up doll, but
to a blow up doll.
I gotcha.
Then Kikutaru.
Okay,
Do you know who
That makes more sense.
Hikaru is?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, this got a lot of heat from me, and AEW can just give me the cheapest heat to my soul whenever they pick on Tony Schiavone.
You
And
really do
when
have a
Jack
soft
Perry,
spot.
I do. He is a good man, and he's only trying to do his job. And they are so mean to him. And Jack Perry poured his whole soda on poor Tony Schiavone's head for no reason other than to be a nasty bully. And I hate
it. Wasn't even a soda. It was a Woo Energy, which makes it that much worse.
Oh, it was Woo Energy? Jesus Christ. Ugh. That sucks.
So I'm with you on this one. Leave Schiavone alone.
All right. I guess Schiavone is the biggest babyface in AEW next to Orange Cassidy, right? Next to Willow Nightingale. Those three are just like the holy trinity of babyfaces in
The
AEW.
holy trinity of AEW babyfaces. Willow
Schiavone,
Nightingale,
Willow,
Schiavone, and
let's get it.
No
Let's
lies.
make it a shirt.
No lies detected. No lies detected.
Yeah, man. They pull my heartstrings, those three. All right. Next we had Tony Storm backstage. Yeah, whatever. And then we got Malachi Black, who basically just confirmed that he is going to be the conditions of their match against each other. He took Adam Copeland's wedding ring in the segment before. We failed to mention that. We apologize, but we're both very excited for this feud.
This match is going to be sick.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait. Next, we had Hook, who made his return. I walked out for a second to get a snack. I came back. Hook's hand was raised.
That's the same exact fucking thing happened to me, literally. I think I went and got ice cream, like an ice cream cone, and I was like, "Oh shit, Hook won."
Yeah. But that's just how it went down here. Then Jericho came out with the FTW championship with Big Bill and did his whole learning tree thing. And God fucking damn it, dude! I think he got us again.
Is this getting over with you? It's getting over with you, isn't it? I'm still
not
not 100%.
I'm kind of enjoying it, but like you're not 0% there though either.
I'm not 0% there, but I'm less than 50% on board.
I think this guy just knows how to reverse heat, like real heat against him. Like I just think like he's such a like wrestling psychologist, and I hate giving him that kind of credit based on like gross stories that have been told about him. But he is somebody that just I think he knows how to navigate wrestling too well.
I think he knows that most AEW fans hate CM Punk, and this is just a CM Punk parody.
Yeah.
And that's why it's getting over with us.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I liked how disingenuous he was. He was like, "Oh, Hook, it looked like you hit yourself with the baseball bat last time we were in the ring with each other. Are you doing all right?" And yeah, so we're gonna end up getting Hook against Jericho again, and I expect Hook to win. And Shibata is the backup for Hook right now.
What, like?
Let's just cut to the backstage segment with Hook and Shibata, can we?
Yeah, that was what fucking got me, man. Like
that shit is. He is when he says about Samoa Joe, he is way too big to be wearing a floral pattern. I just fell on the floor, and I said, "Imagine saying the sentence in 2024." I told if I told my 2018 me in 2024, I would say the sentence multiple times. Shibata is hilarious. Like, I would be like, "What? How?" Like
that Google Translate is fantastic.
Yeah.
I saw this on Twitter, and it's not an original idea, and I'm sorry, but Samoa Joe leading a stable of Hook and Shibata would be just ridiculous.
Samoa Joe just having like his own fight club. You know,
Basically,
him just
basically.
being like a really, really hard nosed and angry like coach, like Chad Gable is now, but to the 1000th degree.
Something like another Blackpool Combat Club of
Yeah.
sorts.
Yeah. Right. Right. I think that they maybe wait till BCC kind of plays out before you start
Yeah.
something like that. You know.
I saw
Um.
somebody mention they thought that Claudio is going to turn on BCC soon. Do you see that?
Um.
I didn't see that at
I
all.
don't.
And then
I
somebody on
don't.
Twitter was like, I think that's about to happen. And I was like, I don't know, man. I didn't see it, but
I don't think so. I
didn't
don't. I
feel
don't
that way,
think
right?
so. I wouldn't doubt it maybe happening down the line. What I am curious about, and for all I know, he might be injured. Is Wheeler Yuta like really injured right now?
I
Like, where the
believe
fuck has he
so.
been?
I believe so. I'm not
Yeah,
really sure, but I believe he is injured.
yeah, because like he is the one thing that's kind of uh, like absent from the BCC that really adds the heel aspect to their group. You know, I feel like he's so unlikable. You know what I mean? That like
Yeah, he's very unlikable.
he adds to the heel dynamic, and they've been missing that. And I wonder if that's just kind of out of purpose that he's been off TV because they've been pushing them more as baby faces. Yeah, maybe they'll do a thing where like Wheeler Yuta and Claudio split up from Danielson and Mox.
Yuta's dealing with concussion symptoms.
Oh,
So
oh, God. I hope he's all right. And it was also really unfortunate to learn this week that Ricky Starks is not injured and he's just sitting at home waiting for his contract to run out. That's really fucking unfortunate, letting just like a talent like that just squander. And
I mean,
I understand he wants to go to the WWE, but like, just they really should have tried with him more than they did. And I felt like they turned him heel a little bit too quickly after the MJF shit.
yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. I maybe, but who knows how long he's made his intentions known, right? And
Yeah.
if he made his intentions known that he didn't want to be there, then yeah, I probably wouldn't use him either, regardless of talent. That's just me. But
Yeah.
I don't
But
know what
we
goes on behind the scenes. I
exactly
think
we're
it's
just two guys that
if
don't
he
know the actual situation.
if they're not using him spitefully, or being spiteful and not using him, then that's kind of, I mean, I'm a I'm a little bit petty from time to time, so I get it. But if you really want to keep him, and he was never like, well, basically, if he said I'm going when my contract is up, I wouldn't be using him in my major programs either.
Yeah. Well, I miss him. I
Me
guess
too.
that's just the bottom line, you know.
Absolutely.
But next we had Swerve against Brian Cage, which, by the way, we had this weird countdown clock to this match happening later on in the night, which I was just like, I just wasn't really that
Yeah.
necessary. I understood it happening like a month ago when they released the footage, because that was something that everybody was like, oh, well, we have to tune into Dynamite to watch this. Nobody was
Yeah.
like, I need to see Dynamite to watch Shane Strickland against Brian Cage. And I think that these guys work great with each other, but it's just not like, it's not worth having a countdown clock.
I mean, if you're trying to make the champion feel special and make the champion feel like must see TV, I sort of get that. But again, it's an eliminator match. It's not an actual title match. It's not the
It's
main
not a
event.
title match.
It's halfway through the show, not the main event. There's a lot of reasons why it was just silly. I think that if you want to do that, there's a time and a place, but this was not it.
Yeah, I do agree, man. And then just going further, I thought this was a really, really good match that they had against each other. These are two guys that are very familiar. I think that Cage just doesn't get enough credit for how good his work rate is. Again, he can have a great match against a lot of people.
speaking of guys that are, large men that could do things they probably shouldn't, he's another one of those kind of guys, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Brian Cage is
just,
incredible, and I'll sing his praises. Shout out to John.
I mean,
I know that you're listening, smiling very hardly right now.
I mean,
So, yep.
my question is, they call him the Machine, right? The Machine,
Mhm.
Brian Cage. Is the Machine actually just a syringe? Let's be honest with each other. That man is juiced to the gills.
I honestly feel I don't think he takes steroids per se, but I think he takes things that are close.
Okay,
I think he
that's
just
fair. I don't mean to
I
disparage
heard
you,
that
but I've
I
heard
heard
it seems.
I gotta tell you what I heard. I heard his
I
wedding cake was just a bunch of Metrix bars. Like it was just all protein bars.
Okay, I take it back. He is jacked to the
Yeah,
gills and he's clean. My
yeah.
apologies, Brian Cage. You just
No,
love
I'm not saying that as definitively he doesn't do
you
steroids,
love protein.
but I
All
just
right,
think that he does like all the junior steroids that are
junior
offered, you know,
steroids,
like stuff
legal
like metric
steroids.
stuff and all that stuff.
Gotcha.
Anyway, after this match, thought it was a really great angle. Swerve sees Mother Wayne and Christian Cage coming out, and it led to Nick Wayne coming from behind him, low blowing him, Kill Switch getting in there, attacking Swerve, and then the moment happened where Nick Wayne took out a family photo of Swerve and his family, and just cracked it over Swerve's head. And this
He was
was
leaking. Leaking. Did you
he
see that
was
shit? That was
yeah.
terrifying.
And this was a callback to when Swerve went into the Buddy Wayne Academy and attacked Nick Wayne and took the
Yep.
family photo of Nick Wayne
But-
and Buddy Wayne and smashed it over his head.
But Eric,
Mhm.
AEW doesn't tell stories.
Yeah, I know.
You
I
know,
know.
they don't do that. They don't do that. So
That's
you're
why
wrong.
that's why I was like so pissed off at people that were just like, oh well, why did the Elite choose Christian to be the challenger for Swerve? And it's just kind of like, who the fuck cares? They can tell a
You don't-
story. They have a backstory. All the pieces that are in this situation have history with each other.
Yeah.
So you can make something amazing.
It's
And
literally
we're seeing it
the
right
most
here.
perfect first feud.
Yeah,
Couldn't be more perfect.
right. I just think that there were too many people hung up on the fact of, oh, well, why did the Elite choose Christian? But I think what we're seeing right now in AEW is the same similar dynamic that we saw in WCW of like baby faces having each other's back and heels having each other's back.
Yeah.
You know, I think that there's going to be like a lot of heels that have like loose affiliation with the EVPs because they want to curry favor with them, because that would be their motivation. You know, someone like Christian would want to have that, you know, motivation to like be on the good side of the EVPs.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this match, and I think they're gonna have a banger, Christian and Swerve. And then, of course, we get the backstage segment here with Hook and Shibata, as we already mentioned. Shibata said that Samoa Joe looks terrible in a floral pattern, and Samoa Joe is, inserting himself into this feud.
Yep.
So next, we had Tony Storm against Harley Cameron. I was actually kind of surprised with how well like Harley Cameron hung in this match. Like I think a lot of it is credited to Tony, but like, you know, for
she's had
somebody
a couple
that
of good
doesn't really
matches the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, somebody who doesn't really have that much experience, she really didn't do a bad job.
No, she's been fine. I mean, I don't want this to be my one women's match, but
No.
you know, it is. So
Yeah,
I guess.
But it was
Beggars can't be
a good showing for
choosers.
Tony just to get like a dominant win here, and she went face to face with Serena Deeb, who, you know, I think that they just kind of need to have a little bit more back and forth. I just hope that the go home of either Dynamite or Collision, there's just like a really good segment between those two to really like spark some serious interest in this match, because like I think where the interest lies is it's going to be a good match.
It's
It's
just
not
getting
necessarily personal.
Yeah, it's getting overshadowed by the
Mhm.
the TBS program.
Although I will, to be fair, I think on Collision they did have like a segment with each other, and didn't Tony say that like she doesn't give a shit about Serena Deeb's near retirement?
No, I don't recall. I mean,
It-
maybe I don't recall it, to be honest with you.
yeah, yeah. Maybe they should have shown that here. But
Probably.
I digress. So next we had Roderick Strong with Bennett and Taven, and Wardlow have a face-off with Will Ospreay. I'm reading this right now, and I actually missed this. Did you see it?
I did. It was funny. I mean, basically, it was I don't respect you, I don't respect you, and blah blah blah, and you know, it was a backstage segment promoting a match between the two of them. It was
Okay.
okay. Osprey's always going to be charming, no matter what.
All right. Next, we had the contract signing, Willow and CEO Mercedes Monet for the TBS title. Man, I'm gonna say this right now. I think that if you are rooting for Mercedes Monet against Willow, you have a serious like morality issue, or like you're just like not a good person.
I mean, you can
Yes.
like a wrestler and want them to win. I mean, there's a
I
lot
don't
of
think there's anyone more unlikable on the show than Mercedes Monet. I'm gonna say that right now. I think that her promos have been terrible. I think that she is so like
she has
detestable as far
she has
like
her stands though.
yeah, I know. Well, they're fucking annoying, and she's just.
I'm just saying they exist.
I think that she's fucking like she really has to show out in this match to really prove to me that like she's worthy of getting all this time.
I
I
think that
think
they're going to
that
put on a really good match.
I thought that Willow knocked it out of the park here. I
Yeah.
thought that Mercedes just kind of stuck to the same fucking talking points she said forever. I make history. I am the first ever. And she's so fucking annoying, and I can't stand her.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I'm just waiting for the
And when
you don't
Willow
have to
put her through the
apologize to
table,
me.
I said, "Thank God."
I'm waiting for the match. I mean,
Yeah.
I just want to see the match. I'm not really paying much attention. I did pay attention to Willow's promo, and it was, with her as always, she just gets better and better and better and better, and this just proves it.
I love the
So
confidence that she has right now.
yeah, I mean, I think Tony knows that she is if not currently, a future face of the company type baby face.
Yes, I agree. And I guess what I want to see is, I have obviously a lot of venom towards Mercedes right now. Let's capitalize on that by Mercedes just doing something really fucked up to beat Willow, and me wanting to see Willow just like get her revenge. Like I think that will certainly make me buy a ticket, because
I think that's very likely to be the case.
Yeah, I hope it is.
It could very well be a Chris Stat heel turn.
Yeah. That would be crazy
for both of them.
I just want the results of this feud. I just want it to just end up with Willow becoming top 3 baby faces in the company on the women's side. And I think do you think she's already there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. Because who's above her? Hater, maybe when she comes back.
Yeah. Maybe number 1 baby face. Number 1.
Yeah.
All right, this main event, brother. We had Okada against Dax. This went into an overrun. I already watched this match twice because
That good, huh? You
I
liked it that
really
much?
I really liked it a lot. I mean, partly I watched it twice because I did miss some of it. I was distracted
Sure.
when I watched it the first time around, but I really focused on it today, and I just thought thought they put on a freaking masterpiece. And
A
yeah,
masterpiece,
it
huh?
did.
Okay.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, they did. Hot dog masterpiece. Maybe not a hot
Okay.
dog and a handshake, but
Okay.
still, like I thought that this was one of the better main events that have happened all year on Dynamite, and I thought that although it was like a great back and forth match, and I think that like the hallmarks of this match were like the near falls that Dax got on Okada. And I think that their timing on that was just really, really good.
Okay.
And Okada just, yeah, I think Dax just proves time and time again how worthy he is as a singles competitor. Maybe we'll get that down the line in a proper run. Who knows? But I mean, I know he wants to be tag team wrestler full time, but he's certainly proving his worth.
I'll have to watch it
I
again.
liked,
I mean,
I liked,
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just
yeah.
saying I didn't. Maybe I just didn't watch. Maybe I didn't watch closely enough. I thought it was a good match. Uh, you're talking about it like pay-per-view quality.
I thought it
Type.
was paper. I thought it was pay-per-view quality.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
watch it again. I got some time somewhere to watch it again. But
I
yeah,
liked the very subtle low blow that Okada hit on Dax too to win the match.
Okada's
That
having the time of his fucking
just to
life right
remind
now, brother.
everybody that he's a piece of shit. So
He's having the time of his life, bro. He's just loving this run he's on.
yeah. But of course, this match ended with a scrum between the two sides that are going to wrestle for Anarchy in the Arena at Double or Nothing. And it was revealed that the mystery partner of the Team AEW side is going to be Darby Allin, who comes
Go on
up
vacation.
in a
Go on vacation.
very puffy pink jacket. Was
Oh, he
very,
looked
very loud. Very
he looked
loud.
very fashionable, but no, bro, take a vacation.
I know. Just like chill for a little bit.
Like,
And again, I really wish it was Samoa Joe, but obviously they have other plans for him. Yeah.
Joe would have made sense, but
Joe would have made sense for his history with Danielson, him to share a ring with Danielson again, and then also his history with Okada. Like, Okada, in his initial excursion to the United States, had a very stupid and racist character that teamed with Samoa Joe and TNA. So, like, I don't know. Okada could just be like, I hate you, Joe, because you remind me of that time. They could tell a story like that.
Everything exists. Wrestling has too many interweaving storylines and crossovers that AEW is willing to touch on, right? Because they admit that there's other promotions out there.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, those stories can be told.
Absolutely. So I think that's all we have for today, Dan.
I think so too.
Next week, I think we're gonna do a lot of previews. Just right off the top of my head, we got Double or Nothing. We got the King and Queen of the Ring. They're gonna happen. We got oh my God, we got Oh My Glob.
Sure do. Show. I was hoping you remembered that.
Fuck yeah.
Pretty important part to remember.
May 26th, Ridgefield Park, New Jersey, at the Mecca. It's going to be a hell of a fucking show.
And you're going to be there, correct?
Yeah, I'm going to be there. Can't wait to be a part of it. And if anyone from the lab wants to jump on our show, talk your shit, the door is always open.
Always open. Anytime, anywhere. Well, I mean, within reason. I have a job that I have to go to, so I can't always podcast, which I mean, if more people listened and we could get paid to do this, I would definitely do so. Trust that. But lot of wrestling. Even though I said I wanted to take a break, we have some big shows coming up, and next week we're going to preview all of them, I'd imagine. So it should be a long one. Anything else, Eric?
Nope. Follow us on Instagram at Smarknado, on Twitter, Smarknado1. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. and it certainly looks like I am kind of fading away. Our connection's getting bad. So, Dan, wrap it up.
Stay fresh, cheese bags.
Keep watching wrestling.